Okay, welcome back, everyone. Great to have you back here. Make sure to take a second, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you've been liking the content. Today, I'm returning to one of my go-to kind of recordings, and that is offering some advice, pulling up Google Maps, and let's go for a walk. Today, we're going to go for a walk in East End, London, and check out some record stores that I found to be really great places to pick up some used jazz records in particular. So let's get started. Let's pull up the map here, the trusty Google map. Okay, where are we starting? I'm going to say that the best place to start this walk is at Liverpool Street Station here in the East End. Liverpool Street Station is one of the main train stations, also a tube hub in London, easy to get to. And again, wonderful place to start your walk in East End. I would say for this walk, I'm gonna show you 8 stores. I think they're all great stores. Each one has its own focus. Strengths, of course, some better than others. Some you could possibly skip. But if you hit all 8 of them, I'm going to say it's going to take you a full day. You want to do a little sidetrack and find somewhere to lunch. So maybe I'll point out a couple places along the way where you can sit down, where you can have a drink, have a wonderful lunch, people watch, check out some of your purchases, and then move on to the next stop. Okay, so where are we? We're here over in Liverpool Street. For the first stop, where we want to go is we want to walk over, just following my cursor here, walk over this to, so you're heading east over to Spitalfields Market, which is right here. Okay, Spitalfields Market has, it's not a store, but it has a vinyl market, as you see here, twice a month, the first and the third Friday of every month. I've only been once, so I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm going to say there's probably about, how many, Greg? I'm going to say there's, don't quote me on this, a dozen vendors, tables. It's not inside, but there's a canopy, so it's kind of a covered market. There's a lot of restaurants. It's a very nice area. If you go to other times of the day, or if you go through there on your way to some of the other places I'm going to talk about, lots of places to sit down. There'll be a market selling other things as well. But again, the first and the third Friday of every month, there'll be some folks there selling vinyl. So I encourage you to check that out. If not, keep on walking, keep on going east. Okay, and I'm going to take you over to this street here, this North and South Street, and it is called, sorry everyone, blup, 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 blup. It's called Brick Lane. Okay, Brick Lane, hard to miss. Real kind of hipster part of East London. There are a lot of Indian, Pakistani restaurants down there, all really good, actually. So that's a great place to stop. There's also a market. I'm trying to zoom in here. This is the corner of Hanbury right here. Okay. And Brick Lane. Sorry, everyone. And Brick Lane, which is right here. There's a wonderful market here. You can see here there's a vintage market. There's tons of space for special events. I have come here at least once where they've had a vinyl show, but I did some research and I couldn't. It's not like Spitalfields. It isn't regular, but it's worth going in there, particularly here on the corner. I'll just hold my cursor there. You can see there's a food hall, and so that's a great place to just have a waltz through. A lot of foods from all around the world, very affordable. A little difficult to hold your food and eat, but it's a great place to stop, to fuel up, people watch, to see if there's records being sold in the market there, or just to move on. Okay, so anyway, my second store is actually in the Brick Lane Market here, but it's down in the basement. So you'll have to go down Brick Lane itself, and you'll see the sign. Usually there's a sign outside. You go, as you can see here in this picture. Oh, that's yeah. There you go. You go down to the basement. Let's pull up, and there we go. There's a nice picture on your right here of the record store. I Again, this isn't my favorite. I think if you're looking for kind of, what we might want to call kind of tourist rock, Brit rock, kind of British ska, British punk. You can actually see that here in the image itself. There's lots of kind of mod t-shirts and ska, whatever, posters, what have you. But there's also I'm going to say there's a couple bins for jazz, and I have found some good stuff here over the years. Probably every second or third time I've been there. So I would recommend just popping down, have a quick poke in there. I also, kind of pointed at the price to the fellow there and was like, "Oh, I really want this, but can we?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's talk." And he knocked off a good kind of 10 pounds off of I'm going to say a 50 pound LP. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, so let's move. So after you've checked out all the tourist rock, as I like to say, you're going to head back onto Brick Lane. Okay, follow my cursor here, everyone. And then just take a first left after this whole kind of block here is one building. And if you take a left down here, there's also some great places to stop for drinks over here. But here is very well known record store in London. And the picture doesn't want to come up. There it is. A little slow today. Called Rough Trade. There's also a Rough Trade in the West End of the city. This is the larger of the two, and I would call this. Let me pull inside. I would call this kind of a lifestyle. A lifestyle record store. You can go in. You probably can't see as much from there, but when you enter the store, let me see if I can find a better picture. Well, at least there you can see there's a lot of books there. I think there's actually even a cafe at the start when you enter. Immediately when you enter on the left, there's a cafe. You might even be able to get a drink there, like a beer or something. On your right is, as you can see by the pictures here, a whole bunch of books. I would say, listen, I'm going to say it's a good place to kind of check out what, especially if you're not from London, what's being promoted. Basically, I'm going to say it's 95% new LPs as well. So if you want to see what LPs are going for, it's a good place to go to. If you want to buy a T-shirt, it's a good place to go to. Take your son, your daughter, someone who's maybe a casual collector. I would say this is a very good place to go to buy presents for folks as well. Also very good. But for jazz, there is a selection at the back. Again, it's mostly, if not all, new stuff. I have bought some stuff here. I bought some British bands here. I bought some ECMs, because it's a bit easier to buy ECM releases in the UK and, of course, Germany and throughout Europe. So these are the kind of jazz LPs that I buy here. But I think I'm going to say that I almost always buy British artists here. So again, it's not entirely my cup of tea, so to speak. That was not a British pun, but I always stop there, and it's worth checking out for all the reasons that I've already mentioned. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Brick Lane, very lively. Lots of stuff going on here. It's a great walk. I would say it's much more interesting than the West End, which has become a little stodgy and old. So this is a much more vibrant, youthful area of London. Keep on walking north. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so we can kind of see where we are here. Walking north over here, there's the Overground as well, the Shoreditch High Street Overground, if you want to kind of tag that in your Google Maps. But anyway, we're walking north, continuing to walk north on Brick Lane. There's some very well-known bagel shops here up on the left if you want to grab a sandwich. Monty's Bar here, as you can see, I've I've flagged that, I've tagged that, and I meet a friend there often. But anyway, we want to stop here at Flashback Records, which is on the main drag here. I forget, it's A1209. I forget the name of the street. But anyway, Flashback Records. Let's have a look inside. It's fairly well um, rated. There's the front. It's on the other side of a busy street. Be careful crossing the street. Let's pull. I'm going to say there are his picture with some of the jazz here. You can kind of see that there's not a huge selection here. There's some there's some soul and funk. There is a good classification of the kind of jazz that you're going to find there, but I'm going to say there's probably only about 3 or 4 bins. I found some good stuff there before, but there's just not a lot. Most of them are, I'm going to say most, if not all of it, is used. So the prices are, I would say the prices here are pretty decent, but it's just hit and miss. It has a feel that it's been picked through, but from time to time, you can find stuff here, and it's certainly worth stopping here again, just because it's part of the walk. It's an easy stroll along the stroll, the walk that I've laid out for you today. Okay, so I've kind of opened up a little bit here. The map, you can see the Shoreditch overground again. Okay, Shoreditch itself is kind of more over here on the left-hand side. What you want to do is you want to cross the street, or you want to double back over here, head up Swanfield. Okay, we're heading north now over to Virginia Road, and you want to get to Columbia Road. Columbia Road is a very popular market road on, I'm going to say, it's either Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which one. I think it's probably Sunday. In fact, it says here Sunday market. And it's absolutely packed. Like the street itself, all the vendors are on the street, and there's like a narrow lane that you can kind of walk through. It's fabulous if you want to go and get flowers for your partner, for your mom, your dad, whoever, as a gift. But otherwise, if you want to go record shopping, do not go on Sunday. Okay, back over to the map. Oh, okay, so you're up here on Columbia Street. At the bottom of Columbia Street, it's not quite at the actual flower market yet, but that doesn't matter because you're not going to go on Sunday. You'll go on Friday or Saturday. And you're going to find this funky in many different ways, record store called VDS, or Vinyl Delivery Service. And you can see already, I talked about this record store on my top 5 favorite record stores. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this, or just skip forward in this section and go and check out that video, Greg's top 5 video stores worldwide. But anyway, I walked up and down this street, I don't know how many times. Probably I wasn't really looking at the storefronts. I was looking at my Google Maps on my mobile phone. But it doesn't scream out here, as you can see. It doesn't scream out record store or even VDS. It screams out what? Like, I don't know, like bottles of wine or something bizarre like that. It's called Idle Moments. It's a shared space. It's a shared wine cellar and record store. I'm not sure if it's the same people who own both of those kind of, stores, but they're all in the same space. Let's have a look inside. There we go. This is a fabulous store. As I said before, it's one of my favorite stores. The reason why is because it's probably 80% jazz LPs. There's a little bit of soul and rare groove, small selection of rock, but it's really the strengths here are Japanese issues, both Japanese bands and reissues of Blue Notes. They have the Blue Note bin. I believe they also have a Prestige bin, and then they have, so altogether I'm going to say that they have a huge selection of new arrivals. Follow them actually on Instagram, and they're pretty good about posting their new stuff. It's a great store, great collection. I probably buy at least 2, if not 3 or 4 LPs every time I go here. The prices are, I'm going to say, amongst the best in London. Absolutely. London is a bit more inflated than I would say the prices here in Toronto and perhaps in many other places around the world. But VDS, Vinyl Delivery Service, I think they're very fair, and like I said, they have a really good collection. And if you're looking for and if you enjoy, you know, collecting LPs with obies on them, or again Japanese versions, this is the place to go. I mean, this, they also have a really kind of groovy uh vintage setup here at the back of the store. This is actually, I think, before they moved it to the back of the store. This looks like it's on the side of the store, but they moved it to the back. Here, there we go. Isn't that cool? That's right, the back behind. The people there are really mellow, really friendly, give you lots of space. Usually there's not a lot of people in there for some reason. I don't know why, because it is a killer record store and you need to go there. Okay, so that's VDS. Okay. We're still on Columbia Road, everyone. Just keep on walking up Columbia Road. So you're heading northeast here, those of you who like compasses. And the next door that you're going to want to drop into is right here. It's called World of Echo. Very different store. That's kind of what I like about this part of London, actually. There's just such a wide selection of different kinds of record stores. Okay, wonderful. You know, very attractive outside, blue painted, and let's have a look inside. It's small, right? It's a small place. You can see here in the middle. Let's put my here in the middle. You kind of walk through the door, and this is the first thing that you see. It's the new arrivals. Most of them, I'm going to say, a large portion is new stuff. A lot of reissues, jazz reissues. I wouldn't say it's if you're going to skip a place, it's a place to skip, although it's kind of, again, along the way. So it's absolutely worth going to. They do have new arrivals, used new arrivals, but I think they tend to have, I'm going to say, kind of the 1980s Brit pop. There's some punk. I found a couple Buzzcocks LPs here. But again, in terms of jazz, soul, rare groove, it's a little thinner and it's definitely more stocked with the new issues or the new reissues. Anyway, great store. I think the prices are fair. And if you get there on a Thursday or Friday, maybe there's some interesting British stuff, excuse me, in the bins. Okay, one last store here in this particular area. Again, the Columbia Flower Market, and that is right at the end of the market. The market kind of ends around here, okay, and then you can pop up to the go north up to the main road here, and just continue walking over to Yo-Yo Records. I'll be honest, I have mixed feelings about Yo-Yo Records. I don't want to be negative or overly critical here, but I'm just going to say this. It's, you know, it's the kind of curated jazz record, jazz rare groove store that's really catering to a particular market, and that is, which is probably me, people looking for original Blue Notes and other early editions of largely American jazz records. So it's a great place. You can kind of see here. Let's pull up the wall. There's always something really interesting on the wall. Again, add them onto Instagram. Go check it out. It's really interesting. If you go on, especially if you go on a Friday, I think they purposefully put out all their new stuff on Friday, so stuff goes really quick. Even though I would say it's not the most affordable store, it's definitely worth checking out. After I've been there a couple times, I kind of did a little bit of research on them because I think they'd moved there just before I first went and checked it out. They used to be or they had some kind of relationship with Cosmos Records. Now, folks in Toronto will know that name because Cosmos Records is just close to just down the road for me, actually. in close to Queen Street, just off of Queen Street, and they have probably the best kind of vintage collection of jazz records in Canada, and probably compete with many places around the world. I've noticed that they have far fewer kind of American issues now, but I think that's the same everywhere around the world when you say. But they, again, stuff is at a premium, so it's a very similar store. It's a very highly curated, well sought after LPs that you're going to pay a good price for. But anyway, go check it out. I don't think I've ever bought anything here, but it's a great story anyway. And I would encourage you to check it out. It's not for me, but it might be for other folks. So Yo-Yo Records, check it out. So I think just to finish the story, I think they used to be part of Cosmos, but then they're not. Maybe there was some kind of arrangement, or maybe they were helping each other out, or someone from Cosmos helped them set up the store. But I think that they're now fully independent. Anyway, check that out online. Don't take my word for it. Check it out online. Do your own research. Anyway, okay, so that's Yo-Yo Record. Do your own research. Don't trust me. Okay, so now you want to head back to the main road here, and you would like to be heading in this general direction. And that general direction, or that exact direction, would be west. You want to head west, okay? And where you're heading towards is this last store on my list. Okay, and that store is called Love Vinyl. So head over here, and you can head up to Dunlow, or head up to Appleby, and take a left over here. Actually, I would head over to Hoxton Overground, because there's kind of a neat walkway to the left of the overground, and as you can see, there's a bakery here. I think there's a pub down here as well, a nice bar. Or you can head over to the main street here, and there's tons of Vietnamese restaurants, so that's also a good place to stop for some food. But anyway, make your way up to Love Vinyl, and again, this is the last place on my list. I've actually only been to this store once. It is, let's pull it up. It reminds me of another store over in the West End. But it's a store that, as you can see here, it's kind of neat. I like the layout. It's that kind of DJ. I've noticed that in the UK. I haven't seen this kind of a organization of vinyl in stores outside of London. I don't know, but let me know if you've seen this style in the comments in other places around the world. But here's obviously the till is here, the staff is here, and behind them they have all the local. I'm going to say like 80% of the LPs behind are new releases, and they're from local artists. They're remixes, they're for DJs, but there's also, I would say there's always about 3 or 4 local London jazz bands who have their LPs behind. You can kind of see, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. It's not great resolution here, but the owners have some comments there. Of course, there's the prices on there, but right, the kind of style of jazz, this is the album set. This is their second album. This is really awesome. This is a little bit of editorial content, and I actually really appreciate it. Some people don't like that as much, but I find it's really helpful. There are a couple places to listen to LPs here as well. So I think like, again, Bettino's in Paris, which I talk about again in my top 5 favorite record stores. They have some open LPs here, so you can kind of ask to listen to something, pull it out, listen to it there, and decide. So if you have more time, this is a great place to go, because there is a lot of, I would say there's a good portion of used LPs here, and I'm going to say there's maybe about 4 or 5 jazz bins. But there's also kind of new releases, as I'm suggesting here, and I always like to go through them, because these are London jazz outfits, bands, trios, quartets that you can't find here, excuse me, in Toronto. So the prices are decent. They're London prices, a little bit more than I usually pay for. But again, there's stuff that's hard to find. There usually is. I'm trying to find here some some OGs and some originals up on the wall, jazz originals up on the wall. The prices are hit and miss, I'm going to say, but it's a great store. I would say I would, every time I'm in London, I want to go to the store. I usually buy a couple of LPs. The quality of the used LPs are always very good, and there's lots of stuff here that I don't find elsewhere. So there we go, everyone. Those are my 8 recommendations for vinyl record stores, particularly if you're looking for jazz or soul, rare groove, and those kind of genres. And if you want to take the day and stroll around East London, Brick Lane, Shoreditch, this is the walk for you. Please, again, if you like my video, hit thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be posting some new videos, some walks in Amsterdam, some walks in Paris, some walks in my hometown here, Toronto, and other cities around the world in the weeks to come. Take care. See you soon.